Converting a decimal to a mixed number and an improper fraction in simplest form basic. Write 4.3 as a mixed number and as an improper fraction. Write your answers in simplest form. For this problem, we are given a decimal, 4.3, and we are asked to write it as a mixed number and as an improper fraction. So the first thing you want to recall is what makes up a mixed number. A mixed number is a combination of a whole number, a proper. Okay. But when we write the mixed number, we don't actually write the plus sign in between. So we have the decimal 4.3. And I want to write this as a mixed number. There are two ways of going about this. So for the first method, I can identify the whole number. It is always before the decimal point. So for this problem, our whole number is 4. Then I know 4.3 is really 4 plus 0.3. I'm just taking this decimal and rewriting it. I'm trying to match the form of a mixed number. So our proper fraction is going to come from the decimal 0.3. Now, before this topic, you actually learned how to convert a decimal to a fraction. And that's what we're going to do with the 0.3. I want to rewrite that decimal as a fraction. Looking at 0.3, I'll show my work on the side. I want to write it as a fraction. So I'm going to put it over 1. It's still a decimal though. A fraction does not have a decimal in the numerator or in the denominator, so there is more work to do. Simply writing it over 1 is not changing this to the proper form of a fraction. Because the 0.3 or the decimal that we have ends in the tenths place, to write this as a fraction, we're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10. And we chose that 10 because the 3 is in the tenths place. All right, so when we multiply, remember the trick with multiplying by powers of 10? 0.3 becomes 3, and in the denominator we have 10. So I have 4 plus 0.3 as a proper fraction, which means the numerator is less than the denominator, is 3/10. Then for our mixed number, remember we do not write the plus sign. 4.3 becomes 4 and 3/10. This is one way of going about it, where you can identify the whole number right off the bat. It's always the number before the decimal, to the left of the decimal point. The second way to go about this problem is not separating the whole number right from the beginning. I want to write this as a mixed number. So I'm going to go ahead and write the 4.3 as a fraction. Write it over 1. Mixed numbers have fractions in them. So I want to get closer to that fractional form. So I write 4.3 as a fraction. But the proper form of a fraction does not have a decimal, neither in the numerator nor in the denominator. So we have some more work to do. Now, because the decimal ends in the tenths place, I'm going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10. Multiplying by 10 will clear the numerator of the decimal. But remember, for a fraction, we have to keep the balance. What we do to one piece, we have to do to the other. Then I end up with 4.3 times 10 becoming 43. And in the denominator, 1 times 10 is just 10. All right, so this is our fractional form, but they want me to write this as a mixed number. So we have to keep going. How many whole times does 10 go into 43? And a little bit of long division will give you that. 10 goes into 43 4 whole times. So we get 40. And when I subtract, I'm left with 3. So the whole number is 4. The remainder is 3. That becomes our new numerator. And we were dividing by 10. So either way, we end up with the same result. All right, now for the improper fraction, we have to think of what makes up an improper fraction. So it is in fractional form, but for an improper fraction, numerator and the second method for the mixed number actually gave us the improper fraction. So once you have the mixed number, you can write that in improper fraction form. So to do that, remember to go from a mixed number to an improper fraction, there was a procedure. You multiply the whole number by the denominator, and then you add the numerator to that. Your denominator does not change. The only time the denominator changes is when you multiply or divide. So here, if we follow the order of operations, I have 4 times 10, that's 40, plus the 3 is 43, and the denominator does not change. So this is our improper fraction. And you can see that that actually showed up in the second method for writing the decimal as a mixed number. Okay, but these are our answers.